Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while and I missed you guys so much, but I had a lot going on in my life that kept me away from making these videos, and fortunately I think that stuff is all behind me now, so
January 2026, we're locking in.
if you're new here, welcome, and if you aren't, welcome back. Quick plug, if you want a reminder of what went down in season 1 and the first half of season 2, check out my older videos first. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have no interest in making this a long video because I did not enjoy this half of season 2. And I believe that's a pretty common feeling among viewers. We'll get into why exactly later, but for now we are going to dive into episode 7, the field trip. So I guess because of EJ's new involvement with the AV club that was teased a couple episodes back, EJ and Gina are now randomly co-hosts of the school's morning news show, which pretty much is never brought back up again. A theme you will see emerging throughout the back half of this season, unfortunately. On the show, they interview Nini on the Rose song, which is the original song she's written for Beauty and the Beast.
More than what I am to you. You say I'm perfect, but I've got thorns with my petals too.
Because it has gone viral, it had 2,500 views on Instagram. Sure, Ricky isn't exactly pleased with all of Nini's new attention, though he tries to deny it a lot throughout this arc between them. Also, Courtney and Howie are now talking and texting a lot, and she has this obnoxious elephant text tone for him that keeps going off because no one has introduced her to Silent or D&D, I guess. And the North High kids, which is, as a reminder, that's Zachy Roy's high school, they keep somehow scooping East High. Like, every time they have an idea, North beats them to announcing it or basically does something new that seems like they're spying on them. So when the kids can't find Ricky's beast mask, they immediately assume it was North High. So they come up with this plan to sneak into North High and find the mask. Okay. So when they go, Gina's on lookout and she gets approached by some guy from North High who asks her for her snap. Just got the most unpleasant flashbacks, sorry. EJ swoops in talking about some risotto date.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
Anyway, the kids are found by Lily and Antoine, who challenge the East High kids to a dance battle.
Be nice. I'm finding it. It take you that long to find it? It does.
I'd rather pretend that whole part didn't happen, so I'm just gonna skip it. Lily points out to Ricky that the lyrics of the Rose song don't sound like a rose talking to a beast like they're supposed to, but a girlfriend who really wants space, and to let her know if he's looking for a girl who doesn't. Sorry, a gag is a gag, even if I don't like the person delivering it. Sorry. And they're all bold as hell at this school because Antoine, the French exchange student, played by Jimmy Award winner Andrew Barth Feldman, also hits on Ashlyn while making fun of Big Red. Just absolutely insane and unhinged. Okay, I was wrong. I do have to acknowledge the dance battle, because the person playing the beast for North High has a mask on the whole time, so you aren't supposed to know who is singing. But if you're like me and watch this episode with subtitles, then unfortunately, you found out right away who was singing. But I'll keep that to myself for now. No one really wins the dance battle, which is annoying and kind of a hint of what's to come later, unfortunately. But Lily tells them that if they include the Rose song in their show, they won't be eligible to compete, which is, I mean, like, duh. Like, the whole competition is about Alan Menken's work. Why would you be allowed to add a whole new character and song and expect to compete with the other schools like it's normal? Nini wants to do it anyway, but Carlos and Ricky pretty much shut that down immediately. And I'm sorry, I can't blame them. The song is really good. As I said in my last video, it was the best original song of the season, and it wasn't even close in my opinion. But why would you want to keep your song in if you knew it meant your friends would be disqualified from something they've been working toward for months? Anyway, as the kids are leaving, Courtney sends a text to Howie, and in a shocking twist, the elephant text tone goes off as North High's masked beast walks out. Once again, all of this could have been avoided if these kids were introduced to D&D. And it turns out Zachy Roy was actually the one who stole their beast mask, not the kids. He's kind of perfect for Miss Jen, if you really think about it. Like, who else would match her freak like that?
And she had dumps like a truck, thighs like what, all night long. Let me see that thong.
Oh, and also, Nene starts an Instagram page for her music and introduces herself as Nina. Nina warriors everywhere. We won. Next episode, most likely to. Okay, when this episode opens, Ricky and Nene are not in a good place. Ricky deletes an Instagram comment from a potential collaborator for Nene's music, and then later at Slices, Nene finally tells Ricky he wasn't the reason she came home from Yak and was already back when he called her the night of the snowstorm, and they get into a loud, embarrassing argument in front of the customers that Courtney has to come in and break up.
I don't know how y'all do shit where you from, but let me tell you something. Where I'm from, we don't do shit like that.
Near the end of the episode, Nene and Ricky meet up in their childhood treehouse, and Ricky confesses to deleting the comment, and they break up again. This time for good.
Thank God.
Okay, enough about them. Gaston and Le Fou, aka EJ and Big Red, do a run through of Gaston that is really good and makes me realize, okay, Beauty and the Beast actually is really good. They could win.
Now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a barn.
But then the Menkeys board forces them to shut down rehearsal for 1 week as punishment for trespassing at North High in the last episode. North High is also allegedly shut down for a week, but I'm sure they actually found a way around it. Also, in this episode, EJ and Gina are getting closer.
I don't know why y'all keep on saying the iPhone better than Android. It's just as good, and it has the same amount of quality.
And the words in the script are obviously meant to be flirting, but I'm just not feeling it. Sorry. It starts out when EJ's dad comes in as a special guest for their career day, and then in front of everyone, his dad tells him that he got into Duke after pulling some strings, which doesn't make EJ feel good because it doesn't feel earned. So later when EJ's looking for Ashlyn, he ends up confiding in Gina about how he doesn't feel like he earned his spot at Duke, even though it was everything he previously wanted. And Gina doesn't really get where he's coming from at first, which should tell people everything they need to know about the longevity and depth of their relationship.
I'm an outsider to the theater stuff, right? And you're like an outsider to East High. I thought we sort of like got each other.
I mean, we did until you came for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our world's been a little upside down lately. At home, too. It's a whole thing.
You're not the only one with home drama.
I didn't need to add to yours. Yeah, no, I get that. Missing your mom.
I knew you would. Sorry, there's just some things I tell you that I don't really tell anyone else.
Yeah, no, I think we do that for each other.
But they use some even clearer indicators later on. After this conversation with Gina, EJ comes to the conclusion that he shouldn't go to Duke, and he tells his dad. Also, there's this subplot where Big Red takes a career test that recommends a job in the service industry, and Ashlyn immediately dismisses it, basically like it's an inferior result. So she makes a mood board for Red that's a lot more ambitious than what he cares for, highlighting a difference in their relationship that won't get resolved in this season. They don't get each other. Honestly, none of the East High couples in this episode really do. Next episode, Spring Break. So this episode was sort of a wink and nod at the state of the world when the season was shooting, aka coronavirus lockdown. So the intro of the episode takes place completely on Zoom. Ricky, who's reeling from his recent breakup, heads to Chicago for spring break to spend some time with his mom. To process his feelings, he writes a song called Let You Go about the end of his relationship with Nene and how he has to, well, you get let Nini go. Gina's stuck in the airport trying to get to Louisiana so she can spend her break with her mom too. Jack, who's played by Sophia's former Andy Mack co-star Asher Angel, is a kid stuck in a similar predicament at the airport and develops a quick interest in her. I've never seen Andy Mack, so let me know in the comments if he was like himself or if any of their interactions were like related to the show, because I didn't pick up on anything. But yeah, their interactions are really helpful for understanding where Gina is emotionally at this point of the season. Also, airports are a liminal space. Gina could have met Jack or some other version of his character in Louisiana, but I think it was important for us to know that she's on the precipice of some character development or growth, and she ultimately doesn't reach her destination that day, but is instead rescued by EJ, which could symbolize his role in her emotional development as well. We get a little foreshadowing too when Jack says that whoever gets to be Gina's first kiss will be a very lucky guy, which tells us her first kiss will likely happen soon. Okay, back in Salt Lake, North High drops a diss video saying that they spent their spring break productively while the East High kids have been slacking off, which gave us this amazing reaction pic. This inspires Nini out of her songwriting rut, so she collabs with Ashlyn to write a song called Ain't Seen Nothing that the kids make a dancing video for. Kind of a forgettable episode, but I liked it better than the Storm one. Next episode, The Transformation. So it's girls versus boys. Nini suggests the kids split up by gender for the night to figure out the tricky beast transformation that they hope will give them a fighting chance against North High at the Minkies. At Big Red's house, Lily called Ricky randomly asking for advice on how to be more likable and respected by her castmates. Okay, I don't like that she has his number or that she feels this comfortable FaceTiming him like that. I don't like that at all. Anyway, at the girls' sleepover at Ashlyn's house, Ashlyn brings up Rina Chocolategate in front of the other girls, including Nini, who had no idea, obviously, that this was ever a thing.
Oh my god, the chocolates. What are the chocolates?
What are the chocolates?
I thought Ricky sent me some chocolates on Valentine's Day, and it kind of melted a little as a friend. But he didn't send me chocolates, Nini. It was my mom.
Why did I never hear about this?
And Nini's naturally offended that she never heard about this until now. But later she throws shade about secrets, which doesn't really land because it doesn't really make sense. And also everyone's kind of over it. Okay, and then at the boys' sleepover, EJ shares that the reason he's afraid of getting into anything with Gina is because of the rejection from Nini. He says he's proud of how he was able to let her go, which strikes a chord with Ricky, who we know just wrote a song about how he loves Nini so much, but he has to let her go. So then Ricky decides Nini doesn't need to hear the song he wrote, but he and Carlos should write a new one for Seb because they still have something worth fighting for. They sing it together for Seb, showing huge growth for Ricky, and in the song they flash back to Homecoming from season 1, which is really sweet. You guys know I'm not the biggest Seblos fan personally, but I really loved this song and this moment between them. Also, EJ asked Gina out on a risotto date, referencing the fake date from a few episodes ago.
Oh my god, corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomato.
I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Howie, who's still trying to win Courtney back, shares the Broadway transformation plans for the Beast, which is definitely a good start. But then when the kids try to recreate it, Ricky falls to the stage in a dramatic cliffhanger. Next episode, Showtime. Literally. So the next 2 episodes follow the same format as last season, where the last 2 episodes are acts 1 and 2 of their opening night. Nini continues her tradition of handing out cards to everyone before the show, and she looks so cute in her townsperson costume. And it turns out Ashlyn and Ricky both broke their wrists in the fall from the last episode, which is definitely less than ideal because it is opening night and the Menke's judge is here. We also learned that the kids went to North High's opening night show the night before, and I have a theory that in the COVID-induced reshuffling of storylines and whatever else, those scenes got cut out because the soundtrack for season 2 includes a version of Lily singing Home, and we never actually see that on screen. Ashton's version is still my favorite, but Olivia Keegan has a beautiful voice, so if you haven't heard it, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is really good. But yeah, I have a feeling we were supposed to see her sing that as Belle and have some kind of locked eye moment with Ricky from the audience maybe, and they might have just decided to cut it for time or logistics or coronavirus. I don't know. Speaking of Lily, before the show, she asks Ricky out for pizza, but Ricky turns her down. Then, Ricky and Lily have a bonding moment over their parents separating, which leaves their exchange on a higher note than how it started, and definitely a higher note than how I personally would prefer. And let me just say, East High's show looks amazing. I know we didn't see North High or any other school, but I think they would have had a really strong chance of winning, honestly. The transformation from Prince to Beast in the very beginning is absolutely flawless, as is every other glimpse of the show that we do get to see, and I wish we got to see so much more of it in the final 2 episodes. Like, Be Our Guest was absolutely spectacular, just so good. I had to rewind and watch it again, and I was mad that we didn't see more of the show. Anyway, during the show, Gina's mom texts her that she can't make it again, which breaks Gina's heart, but she said she sent a surprise, and the surprise turns out to be Gina's older brother, Jamie, who was played by none other than Disney musical prince Jordan Fisher. Now, my long personal history with Jordan Fisher that you are all obviously asking for is that I first saw him in Secret Life of the American Teenager like a decade, probably more than a decade ago. I don't want to spoil, but he was a major character's secret half-brother, and so when he was on Liv and Maddie, I watched those episodes.
And I could have had it all, could have had it all. True love, I know I had it. True love was so hard to find. True love, if I could get it back, I'd never let it go this time.
I still haven't actually seen any other episodes. I just wanted to watch the ones he was in. And then last summer, I saw him on Broadway by accident. I had no idea he was in the show I was seeing when I booked the tickets. So that was such a pleasant surprise. And I have deluded myself to the point where I believe wholeheartedly that us meeting is completely inevitable. Okay, anyway, so Jordan Fisher, whose character's name is Jamie Porter, meets EJ in the hallway, and EJ learns that Gina's family thinks of him like an older brother figure to Gina while she's been away from home, and he assumes that means Gina feels the same way, even though she actually doesn't. More on that later. Something I loved about this episode is how much time Nene spent helping and uplifting everyone, basically doing Miss Jen's job for her. I said it. And it made me think that the way their characters have been linked, particularly in this season, if Olivia had stayed for season 3, I think her character would have started taking more of a director/teacher persona, kind of like Finn in Glee, while she focused on her personal music. I think the last performance we see is Something There, which I love, and they did a really good job with that duet. Ashlyn and Ricky's voices sounded great together, and honestly, I wish we got to hear them sing together so much more this season. They were the leads. There were lots of exchanged glances throughout the song, most notably Ricky and Lily and EJ and Gina. Also, Howie's super weird and avoidant and dismissive towards Courtney, and then at the end of intermission, the kids can't find Ricky's harness that he needs for the transformation from beast to human at the end of the show, and Miss Jen, who's been a ticking time bomb, just yells,
"Oh, for heaven's sakes, can't you just jump off something high?"
Bombastic side eye.
No, forget I said that.
Turns out Lily stole it, but no one knows that yet. Final episode, Second Chances. I wonder why they called it that. We jump straight to the end of the show, which I think was a mistake. personally, but I've never worked in a writer's room before, so who am I to say? Lots of revelations. Big Red has been hiding out all night because he was building a marquee with Ashlyn's name in it to see her name in lights, which is super sweet. And then the reason Howie was being so weird with Courtney is because he was so blown away by her and I guess like intimidated by her talent. Okay. EJ got Mazzara a spot at the doctoral robotics program at Caltech that he always wanted, which was really, really sweet, but it seems like he won't want to leave because he has feelings for Miss Jen. Bless his heart. Because of the conversation EJ had with Jamie, he postpones his date with Gina indefinitely, which breaks her heart. Nene finds her crying in the dressing room and helps her feel better by saying something really sweet about how they're all lucky to know her. Gina then points out that Nene spent the whole night uplifting everyone else, and she's right, it was really sweet to watch. Anyway, all that aside, I do have a controversial opinion about this scene. While I love the dialogue, I did love the dialogue in this scene, and I thought what each character said about the other was true, I didn't really feel that this conversation was earned. In my opinion, Nene had every right to be upset about both Ricky and Gina about the chocolates, but she definitely didn't yet have the relationship with Gina to expect her to share what happened. So her saying that that was what made her most upset honestly doesn't make any sense. If I'm dating anybody, there should be no girl in the world, no girl, who thinks he got her a gift for Valentine's Day, especially not a girl he has history with. Speaking of Ricky and Nene, they exchanged their opening night cards in the same place where they got back together at the end of season 1, and they are finally on the same page, just for a moment. Short and sweet. Wasn't mad at it. Obviously, this relationship is dead in a ditch, and the writers were very clear here, in my opinion. Ricky ends up giving Miss Jen his blessing if she wants to date his dad again, and then when Miss Jen asks Ricky if he's happy, he says he thinks he's happy, or getting there, which is exactly what Gina said a few episodes ago.
I think I'm ready. Or getting there.
Why would this be a coincidence, guys? Please use your heads. This scene triggers a song called Second Chance between the core 4 while they wear the same outfits they wore in the very first episode to the High School Musical auditions. Another potentially controversial opinion I have is that I wish this season focused more clearly on this core 4. It got hard to follow, which makes the song being a quartet instead of a duet kind of feel like it came out of nowhere. The teen drama format works best with the clear core cast structure, in my opinion. Okay, and then a lot happens in the last few minutes of the season while the cast has a private party at Slice's. Lily and Antoine crash it and are quickly escorted out by Ricky. The kids decide they don't want to see what's in the envelope because they were all already proud of themselves. Miss Jen is relieved. I was disappointed. What do you mean a show about High School Musical set at East High that strayed from High School Musical for the sake of a made-up award decided in the last few minutes to burn the results of that effort? I cannot quite explain to you how much I hated this. I hated it so bad. So many things in this season felt like they were built up just to get dropped. This video is already longer than I wanted it to be, so I won't dwell. But a perfect example of this was Nene leaving Yak. You know what? No, don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
And you shouldn't.
Also, Mazzara admits that Miss Jen is the reason he's considering staying in Salt Lake instead of taking the opportunity at Caltech. If I were in his life, I would smack some sense into him and tell him to go. And this is coming from head lover girl. I just couldn't condone that. Gina finds out from Ashlyn that EJ thought she thought of him as a big brother and that was why he randomly canceled their date. Thanks, Ashlyn. Nene calls Jamie. Good. Ricky calls Lily. Bad. And Gina asks, I'm not kidding, literally asks EJ to be her first kiss.
Will you be my first kiss?
Atrocious. I think I've been pretty clear about how I feel about this pairing. Up until this point, while I wasn't a fan and felt that she and Ricky would ultimately be a better fit, I still liked that she felt wanted and desired and all of those things because I truly wanted that for her. Which is why the way this plays out makes my skin crawl. I hate that she's the one who had to chase him. I hate that she asks him to be her first kiss. How old are they supposed to be? This guy's a senior in high school. I hated everything about it. And I think if I had been a fan of this ship, I would have hated it even more. The first kiss happens off camera with the silly theme music behind it. Obviously, they didn't want us to take this pairing seriously at all. And I don't know, truly, I don't know how so many people fell for it anyway.
I don't know why y'all keep on saying the iPhone better than Android. It's just as good, and it has the same amount of quality.
They ended the episode with a blooper reel that was beautiful and sweet and almost made you forget how many things were left unfinished or terrible at the end of the season. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about the second half of season 2, and if you can remember what your thoughts were going into season 3. I can't wait to talk about that with you all in my next video. Bye for now!